Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. Now, this video is going to be a little more on a serious note. Throughout the U.S., we see numbers of COVID declining. We see them declining in almost every state. But the problem is this. We got too many people that aren't taking the vaccine. They're not taking it seriously. Sound familiar? It's what we did about a year ago, isn't it? Didn't take it seriously, and then the numbers spiked again. But now we have a way to stop this. We have a way to stop the spread, and people aren't taking it. At last check, roughly 49 to 50% of Americans who were eligible for the vaccine have been vaccinated. Only 49%. To hit herd immunity, we need roughly 75%. And sure, there are some areas that have reached herd immunity in their general area. But nationwide is what we need, till the numbers nationwide will come down. So you and I can travel to any part of the country without having to be worried about getting a serious case of COVID-19. So, let's have a little chat about the COVID vaccine. Now, I've had the COVID vaccine. I had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. For me, the effects were minimal. My wife had slightly worse symptoms, quite a bit worse symptoms. She felt terrible for about a day. But that's nothing in comparison to what happens if you get COVID itself. If you are immunocompromised or somebody that has different health elements of some sort, say high blood pressure, diabetes, any of these things, if you don't take the vaccine, your chance of survival is almost nil. And I don't mean to be depressing. I don't mean to be alarmist, but this is just a fact. People that have diabetes and high blood pressure and other health issues do not do well with COVID-19. For whatever reason, they are at a higher risk of not surviving. Now, take that as you will. But here's the thing. We're not just talking about trying to protect you. I'm not just here to tell you to protect yourself. I'm here telling you to protect your friends, your family, your co-workers, and anybody you might happen to come across. You may think that this isn't important. You may not think that the COVID vaccine is important to you. And maybe it's physically not. Maybe you're in that group of people where the likelihood of complications are slim. Maybe you're in that 97% or so, 97, 98% that would have an asymptomatic case. But here's the problem. The vaccines only work if everyone uses them. If enough people use them, right? Like, I can protect myself to a point. But if you have COVID and you don't know it because you refuse the vaccine, I could still get COVID. Now, the hope is that the vaccine would save my life at that point. But the mere fact that it is in my body could be a long-term problem. I am immunosuppressed. There's nothing I can do about that. But there is something you can do to protect me and people like me from contracting this terrible disease. And yes, like I said, I am vaccinated. And that makes me feel a little more secure. But knowing that many people out there are refusing to get it, make it a little harder for me to be like, hey, let's go out and do this. Hey, honey, why don't you go look for a job? And I understand. Everyone has their rights. Their right not to take the damn vaccine if they don't want to. And if they have a physical reason why they can't, then I'm all for it. But this religious bullshit and all this crap about, there's this or that in the vaccine, none of it's true. None of it is true. There are no microchips in the vaccine. The needle's not even big enough for that. Not to mention, I've seen nothing. I have had nothing, no mind control, no other bullshit that people are claiming are coming from these things. The vaccine is not out there to hurt you. The vaccine is out there to help you. Too many people out there think that it's just a ploy for the government to kill people. I actually saw that post on Facebook the other day. And while we're talking about the COVID vaccine, let's talk about another viral Facebook and social media post I've been seeing on both Twitter and Facebook. There's this little thing that says, if the government, or why is the government giving, or why does the government have free shots for the vaccine, yet they're not doing the same thing for chemo or for diabetes drugs like insulin? Now, I may not have got that exactly correct the way it's stated, but it's the gist of the argument. Is why is the government giving everybody these shots for free, but they're charging people for chemo and everything? And it's rather simple. The government, under Donald Trump, probably the only good thing Donald Trump did in his 4 years as president, ordered and paid for billions of dollars worth of vaccine under the emergency authorization he has under the authorization, I believe it's the Emergency Defense Authorization Act. I may not have the act right, but I believe that's what it's called. But under his authority, he was able to pay for millions of doses, or hundreds of thousands of doses at least, upwards of 1 million doses of vaccine or more. It had to be more than 1 million. It had to be millions because they wanted to vaccinate at least 75% of America. So he bought up all the Moderna vaccine that they had coming out at that point in time. As much of the Pfizer vaccine as humanly possible, and all the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that he could. And probably the only thing Donald Trump ever did right, and the people on the right are still mad about it. But here's the thing. The president does not have the authorization to provide free chemo or free insulin to Americans that need it. I'm right here to tell you exactly how this can happen. You want this to happen? You want people to have free access to all insulin that they need? And free access to chemo, where cancer treatments are free? It's called universal health care, people. If you want these things taken care of and other diseases taken care of, radiation for cancer, chemo, insulin, blood pressure medication, other heart medications, thyroid medications, if you want all these things taken care of by the government, then let's entertain the notion of universal basic health care. Everybody should have health care. I'm not saying a doctor shouldn't get paid, because a doctor should get paid. It costs them hundreds of thousands of dollars to become doctors. They have to dedicate years of their lives to no sleep, no money, and years of having nothing. And then when they start a practice, they have to go into even more debt to open their practice. So yes, doctors deserve to get paid. Pharmaceutical companies deserve to get paid. But the question is, by how much? Should insulin cost you $1,000 a month or more? The answer is no. Should you as a cancer patient have to pay for your cancer treatment? No. I believe the government should cover those things. If you have diabetes, if you have high blood pressure, if you have cancer, I think the government should cover all of that. If you're transgender, I think you should be able to have health care for that too. And I think the government should help cover that if they have government insurance. But unfortunately, too many people don't understand what universal health care is. Too many people seem to think that universal health care is just some form of socialism. And if it is, who cares? It would help more people. And you wouldn't have stupid questions like this, now would you? But anyway, as I was saying, get out there, get vaccinated. That way you can get out and do more stuff, and you can have more fun. Anyways, y'all have a great day. I'll see you down the road.